Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Now, as some of you may know, I've been making videos for the past 2+ years, mostly for Fractal. I've switched my main focus to the Tone Master Pro because I just think it's a more intuitive unit, and honestly, I just think it's a lot more fun to work with. So I think I may need to adjust my style a little bit to accommodate the folks that are just entering the modeling world. I don't want to blast them with a bunch of technical jargon because I think that would just turn them off and maybe even make them think about returning the Tone Master Pro, and that would be a huge mistake. So I'm doing a series of videos for people who are using modelers for the first time, and I would like your input on it. What is it about the Tone Master Pro that you find confusing, and what are some areas where you might need some help? Leave me a message with as much information as you can, and I will do my best to get back to you. Here's an example that I think illustrates that issue. I've seen many requests for asking how to use both inputs on the Tone Master Pro. If you use a regular amp that has 2 inputs, you can plug into 2 inputs and get sound right away, no matter if you're using guitar and bass, 2 guitars, guitar and mic, whatever. I mean, I've told a story about my first band when we all plugged into the bass player's Silvertone amp, and that meant 2 guitars, vocals, and a bass guitar, all plugged into one amp, and somehow we made it work. You know, we were kids, what did we know? But still, you know, the point being is that you should be able to just plug in and it works. So why can't we do that with the Tone Master Pro right away? Well, the Tone Master Pro can handle both inputs at the same time, and each path can have its own signal processing going on. But that is not the default setup. The default setup is for one instrument being used. I made a video last week that walks us through some of the various signal paths that we have available for us on the Fender Tone Master Pro, and I'll put a link for that video in the description. But when I watched that video, I realized that new owners could easily get confused. You know, and I want new owners to be engaged, not depressed. So in this video, we are going to make a preset that uses both inputs, one for guitar, one for bass. The guitar will use the instrument input, and the bass guitar will use the mic/line input. We'll go through it step by step, and then I'll upload it to the cloud so that you can download it and use it. In case you haven't tried out the cloud yet, I'll post a link to a video that I made that explains how to use it. Okay, then we'll test out each path to make sure the guitar sounds right and the bass sounds right, and then I'll do a little song demo for you using both inputs. Obviously not at the same time though. I'm going to be using the Pro Control app. Now I could use the Touchmaster Pro's touchscreen, but honestly, it's easier on my back to sit and use the app. I have my Tone Master Pro connected to my Mac Mini by using the USB-C cable that came with the unit. If you haven't connected your Tone Master Pro to your computer, well, you can still use it, but you are missing out on a lot of fixes and new features that came with the firmware update. Yeah, I know. Firmware update? What's that? Well, rather than go into that in this video, I'll post a link in the description for a video I made on updating your firmware. So yeah, before you watch any more of this video, you really should watch the videos on updating your firmware and using the cloud. Then when you come back to this video, it should start making sense. Like I said, you can still use your Tone Master Pro even if you haven't or can't do the firmware update. The Pro Control app mimics the Touchmaster Pro's touchscreen for the most part. So for every step that I do using the app, you should be able to do the same step using the touchscreen. I'm just not sure that all of the functionality will be available to you. Let me know if you run into any problems. I'm always glad to help. Before we even start building a new preset, let's take a look at preset 130, Acoustic plus Vocals. This preset looks different than every other preset on the Tone Master Pro, right? It has a path on the top and a path on the bottom. Each path flows from left to right. The top path uses the instrument input and is set up for an acoustic/electric guitar. The bottom path uses the mic/line input and is set up for use with a microphone. So while we probably could take this preset and edit it to taste, let's build our own presets. Click on My Presets, then go down to your first unused preset. Click on Preset Settings, then click on Signal Path Type, which is currently set to Instrument Series. Select the fourth option, Instrument plus mic line series. Then click on Confirm. Now click the back arrow, and you'll be back to your preset. But now it has two paths, just like preset 130. All right, let's build the guitar path. What I'm going to do is copy preset 01, 65 Deluxe Reverb. We'll add the Royal Tone pedal, the Deluxe Reverb, and the space delay. Then I'll match the settings. Right now we can't save presets within blocks of favorite settings that can be used in other presets. So I'll have to do this part manually. And to show you what I'm talking about, I would have to go to, for instance, the Royal Tone and click on Gain. It's 94%. I need to make a note of that. Tone, 35%. Presence, 40%. Volume, 50%. And mode is set to distortion. So I would have to take those settings and copy them manually over to the new preset. Now also, the Royal Tone pedal is in bypass mode when this preset starts up. We'll add a foot switch for it. And then we would add the settings for the Deluxe Reverb and the space delay, and then we would be done with the guitar path. Now for the bass path, I'm going to use the same setup as factory preset number 127, Studio Bass. It uses the Studio Compressor, Tube Preamp, and EQ3 parametric pedal. And again, I would just have to go through the settings, like click on this guy, gain 6.5, threshold minus 42.4, ratio 4:1, and so on. Now at this point, we have the guitar preset on the top path, and the bass preset is on the bottom path. Let's test them to see what they sound like, then I'll do a demo. All right, guys, here's what the bass preset sounds like. And here's what the guitar preset sounds like, although I probably will adjust the settings on the delay for the demo song that I'm going to be doing for you. I'll go ahead and post this to the cloud as Doug B's Guitar and Bass V1. Now the thing about this particular preset is that both instruments will end up on the same output. So you can't adjust the bass and the guitar independently outside of the Tone Master Pro. Now this video has gone on long enough, but next week I'll show you how we can have separate paths for both instruments, and I'll give you two methods of doing it. Now, you don't want to miss that, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll be talking with you again next week.